Guys, welcome back to some more AFK Arena. Today's video, we're going to be breaking down some of our Temporal Rift teams and really going in here, building out these formations. Now, some of the formations are very pay-to-win heavy. Some of the formations that I'm going to be sharing, and I'm going to be sharing a lot of formations. Now, you'll notice right off the bat, it makes a big difference when you add one single formation in here, because with one formation, it'll actually allows you to enter it into the Temporal Rift. If you're adding a multitude of formations, it's very, very difficult. It's very hard to go in here and add those formations. So for this first one, we're going to put the owl in here. We know the winged owl does incredibly well, and this is going to be compromised of the awakened version of Thorin. We are going to run Aethys in here, which we know super solid tank. We're going to run Tamris in here, crowd control extraordinaire, plus the buffing up the enthusiasm. We're going to run Ivan in here as well. And then for the final one, we are going to do the awakened version of Antandra. And in this one, we are also going to use Antandras. Now within here, this is going to use the trap. Now that, of course, is an artifact, which we'll look at in the Rift in just a minute. So let's go ahead and build that up. Now, I don't know if there's any way for us to essentially just copy this or have a way to look at it, because I want to add the new formation. So the second formation that we're doing is going to be run, and it's going to be the ibis is going to be the pet or the beast that we're using in here. So that one is actually right here. Now this is going to consist of some different heroes. So number one, we're going to have Hildwyn in here. If you're unfamiliar with Hildwyn, does incredibly well. Then we're going to run Jerome, again, thinking of a warrior, doing super well within the buffing aspect. Gavus is going to be the next one in here, and thinking even of formations where if you don't have Hildwyn, you can run the original version of Aziz, you can run Adrian and Lise. There are a couple variations in here, and then we're going to run the awakened version of Belinda. Now looking at this combination, the final one in here is going to be Lavatune. This has a massive mitigation. You have mitigation damage from Hildwyn and from Gavus. You have buffs out there from Jerome, which of course Lightbearer of Belinda is going to be imperative. Then we do have Lavatune. This is going to run the axe. Now this, if you have this team, is probably going to be the first one you're going to be running in here. Works very well in a lot of different game modes. Third one we're going to look at is Talisman. Now we know Talisman does have the ability to fear and crowd control Hippos and Greyborn heroes, and this is going to run the awakened version of Chimera. If you're unfamiliar, this is very broken with Chimera in this game mode. We're also going to run the awakened version of Athalia. So very interesting to see what we're running. Two of the awakened heroes in here, which again, two of those are really big. We're also going to run Aurelia in here. It is going to run the awakened version of Gwen, or excuse me, the draconic version of Gwen. And then it is also going to run Melion. So when you think of expensive, very expensive, this is going to run Chimera. This is a super, again, expensive team as we're running with Team 3. This is also going to run the Cloud in there. Now, team number 4, and again, we'll go through, I'll show you a lot more combinations that are a lot more free-to-play friendly. So this one's going to run Lucilla. We're going to run Liberta in here, both the combination of those. Then we're going to run the awakened version of Leica. Now, the big thing with both of these running up front, we're going to have the delay coming into battle. There's also going to be the shielding aspect, the damage mitigation in here. We're going to run Demia in here, and then we're going to run Rem as a powerhouse for the damage dealer. This is going to run our Shroom Spooter in here. So we're actually going to pop this one right in here as well for a little bit of crowd control. Now this one is going to run the Tide into Team 4. And then the fifth and final team in here is going to be Iran and the awakened version, or excuse me, the regular version of Alna. This is super strong. If you're unfamiliar with the game mode, if you're unfamiliar with how this works, Alna effectively gives the awakened version of Iran does not die. That is the big thing in here. So the cheat death over here because of running Alna, and we know Alna in this game mode is very strong. We're going to run Shuna in here. Then we're going to run Misha. Now, Misha is a very strong support hero, especially running with Iran. And the last one we're going to run in here is Kelthan. Again, when we start thinking of some of the substitutions, even looking, and I'll go through some of the substitutions in just a minute, this is also going to use our Treat Spectator out of here to finish out our fifth team. So let's run through here. Let's talk about substitutions. So if you don't have this awakened version of Thorin, you can actually swap in Villanelle, going to work incredibly well in here. This one, again, if you don't have Hilduin, you can use the original version of Aziz. You can also use Adrian and Lisa in here. For team number 3, if you do not have Gwen, you can use Randy in there, which is important. If you don't have Emilion, Adrian and Lisa goes in there. And then, of course, if you don't have the awakened version of Antandra, you can actually swap Iran in there, or you can go with Lucius in there in this combination. So essentially, if you don't have Iran, you can drop Lucius in here with Alna, or if you're using Iran in the combination of Team 1, because you don't have that awakened version of Antandra, you can swap that out as well. If you don't have a couple in here, of course, support heroes, viability, you can use the awakened version of Sophia, you can use Palmer, you can use Shuna, you can use and change up a lot of other heroes. Now let me look at a little bit more of our free-to-play friendly, and I want to run through here, and I'm just going to add these in. Now this is from a guy that we actually seen quite a bit from AFK guys. These still do work incredibly well. So again, very similar to what we just seen. This is going to run Aziz. This is also going to run Jerome. Again, what we just seen. Awakened version of Belinda. Then we have Gavis. And so this is literally the same team that we just had. Lavatoon in there. This is also going to run the Rock Lizard in here, again, survivability-wise. And this is going to be running the Axe. Now, of course, substitutions in here. You could use Helios in here. Guineas in here, the awakened version of Lucius in here. Looking at Palmer, looking at Adrian Elise, again, there are a lot of substitutions that you can actually put in here. Now, the second team we get into is Ulna Rem. So again, thinking of the combination and the strength with the teams running in here, and for some reason I keep going to the dimensionals, but going to Ulna Rem, Ulna is going to keep Rem alive, which is huge. The awakened version of Leica for the delay coming in here. We have Athalia in here as well, which again, damage-wise, and then actually in here they were running Silas. These are some of the formations that we actually did run last time. Also using Talisman in here, and this is going to rely on the armor as the artifact that you're getting in here. Third team, again, kind of that same variation. We're going to run the awakened version of Shmira is going to be run within here, which she is somewhere in here. There we go. The awakened version of Shmira and Hilduin, again, very strong combination. This is going to run Bronn, and it's going to also run Lady Simona with Ivan. 5, or essentially 4 Greyborn and a Draconic hero in here. Shroom Spooter for the crowd control within this formation itself. This is going to run the Dagger as we look at this formation. So getting into our fourth one, this is going to be the Aethys formation. So we are going to run Aethys in here. We're going to run Naruko, 2 very strong heroes. If you guys remember this one, the awakened version of Solus. Then we're running Trishia in here with Villanelle. Energy, disintegration, tanking, everything else that we have. Villanelle is going to be the last one. This is going to use the Ice Crown. So we have a lot of crowd control coming into this formation. And this one is going to use that Blood Ring for the artifact that we have. Now, bonus team, you could always do the seal. And this is what they kind of talk about in here, is utilizing the seal. But we have one more in here, which of course goes around Lucilla and Kanisa and Rook. If you don't have Kanisa and Rook, Vathiel works in here, Aethys, Guineas, Kelthin works in here, a lot of different formations. This, of course, is going to have Libirda in here, the awakened version of Baden being in here. And then the final one is going to be Demia. This one is going to use our Owl, and this is going to use Meteoric Rise as the 5th. So you can see, guys, we have 10 teams in totality. You can go through, you can pick and choose, you can do exactly whatever team you do want to use in here. So let's go ahead and get into the Rift. Now, I systematically have not done anything in the Rift because when it comes to the Beacon, Trade Enhancer is the one and the only that you're going to be using in here. Temporal Rift, we're going to get into one team. Now, like I said earlier, the one team we're going to do is our formation configuration. I'm going to do this very, you know what? I'm going to start with the second team. Let's go ahead and kick that one out. Let's use this second team right here. Now, you're going to have to be careful because it is going to give you this secondary slot, as you can see right there. But looking at our second team and looking what we're building out of here, with this one specifically, we are building, and I believe it is the Axe. Don't have the Axe yet, so we're going to actually go in here. We could use the Trap. Cloud, the Tide. I'm going to put the Cloud in here right now. This is going to be the first one. It's going to tell me I am missing a force. I want to go ahead and sweep. I don't want to reselect. This, again, is the formation. Now, this, I auto it. Defensive formation, of course, is going to tell me the exact same. It's going to tell me there are heroes or recommended badges. Let's just go ahead and we will challenge this itself. running through here until you get to 2 teams. Again, we're going to pick this one up. We're going to go ahead and set our formation based on the heroes or the heroes that we do have here. We're going to auto battle, skip the battle, stop after the beckoning place, stop when they die. Not going to worry about that because with this team specifically, you're going to burn through pretty much everything in here. No change in stability because we already have a lot of levels on there with that trait enhancer and building these up. Now, systematically, like I said, I'm not going to use any of the slots. I don't want to make a mistake. I don't want to slot the wrong hero in here and not being able to make progression. Once we get double teams, we'll put in our secondary team. Once we start getting the other relics or the other unlocks within here, we will add those as well. But we'll go through systematically adding all 5 of those teams, changing them up in the formation based on how many we have available, and run this through getting the loot out of here. Now, when it comes to loot within the Temporal Rift, it is absolutely crazy exactly how much loot we do have in here. And overall, like I said, there are a lot of substitutions. When you look at support heroes, very easy to substitute a lot of those in there. Just based on who you have, based on gameplay. I know a lot of players will say, what if I don't have this hero? What if I have this hero? Guys, substitutions are going to be solely based on, number one, the heroes that you get out of the beckoning place. There are a lot of really, really strong heroes within that beckoning place that are going to have a lot of effect and be able to carry your teams a lot. Number two, it is going to be based on where you have your heroes, what heroes you have built up, and what heroes you do have access to in the entirety to make progression within this game mode. All right, guys, so that is going to do it for today's video. A lot of teams, and we went through 10 different teams. I know some of them kind of overlap, but making sure that you're going through here. And in a couple days, we'll go through, we'll do an updated video showing exactly where we are with progression. And I know this is probably going to cap, and I think right now it's 100 levels. I think it'll go through once we get multiple teams, that'll cap that first 100 levels. But guys, that's going to do it for today's video. Let me know in the comments what you guys think. And as always, thank you guys for watching.